Hello, I'm jumping in with your latest update on where we are with Hey Monika. Hey Monika is a work experience solution, and the reason that Joe and I started to build this with our amazing team of Nicola Fallon, Nadia Gibbs, Stuart Hurst, and Rebecca Williams is that in our community of now over 33,000 bookkeepers around the world, the biggest question we were being asked is, how can I get work experience? Or even worse, can I work for you for free? And we knew that there was this massive gap between what you learn in your textbooks and your exam training and what actually happens when you go into the real life world of work and you're dealing with clients and random bits of paperwork that don't look like a textbook. And also, of course, you're using software that you haven't used unless you've been doing some kind of computerized exam, which is very structured. You're not experiencing what it's really like to be dealing with a client. So we're trying to solve that. And we've really had our heads down over the last few months because we've been developing the product to build out something called Challenge Mode, which is now live. Just if you want to have the backstory, when we started to build Hey Monika and we were thinking, how do we give people this practical work experience? What we did and what we've built out is a lot of training scenarios, lots of fake clients who you can interact with. They can tell you about their problems and what they need from their bookkeeper or their accountant. They can give you the paperwork. Sometimes they don't give you the paperwork and you've got to ask them the question, and then they'll release those pieces of paperwork so you can work through the scenario and actually complete their bookkeeping, whether that's like a monthly set of bookkeeping or you're preparing their PAYE submission, or all of the things that come up in real life. But what we've learned over the last few months is that the confidence to just dive into a scenario isn't necessarily there. If you've just finished your training, or if you haven't got experience of particular activities within bookkeeping and accounting, the questions that we were getting asked were, well, does this tie up to AAT Level 2? Or does this tie up to ICB Level 3? And actually, unfortunately, real life doesn't work like that. But it made us realise that there is definitely an opportunity for us here to support you with basic, intermediate, advanced level activities around the fundamentals that you're learning in your exams. So if you need to be doing a bank rec, for example, what does it look like in a nice basic bank rec where everything balances? It's nice and easy. What are we trying to achieve here and what can go wrong? But then what happens if it's a little bit more messy, or they haven't given you all the paperwork, or something's been miscoded in the past? How do you unpick that and what steps do you go through? So now what we're doing is we're keeping scenario mode, so you still have those clients that you can interact with. And if you're feeling like, yeah, do you know what, I just want to go and try it out and I just want to work with a client and do their bookkeeping, that's still there for you. And the kind of element of surprise, I suppose, of what software are they using or what particular thing is going to come up this time is there. But if you want the more structured approach to how do I align this with the training that I'm doing right now and slowly build my confidence as I go through that sort of beginner, intermediate, advanced, that's what we're building out now. And that's exciting because what that will give us the ability to do in the future is show you in some kind of, and I don't know exactly what this looks like yet, but some kind of like CV output, what you've actually achieved, which activities you've now mastered, and at what level you're competent to do those, which is obviously helpful for you in terms of your confidence and aligning your training with your exam, but also with speaking to an employer about what you're actually able to do. And also, if you are an employer, to see what your team are competent doing, because as we know, exams doesn't necessarily mean real world experience. So brilliant week for us. And we were super, super proud at the ICB Bookkeepers Summit and the Luca Awards. We were very proud to win AI Innovation of the Year. I still can't get over that. I'd love to show you the trophy, but Nicola Fallon, I think, sleeps with it next to her in bed. I can show you another trophy because I was very proud to add a third Luca to my personal collection last week as well. But we are just so proud that we were able to do that because we were competing with big companies out there, and to be able to say, do you know what, we've spotted something as people who are in the industry very, very close to the sort of user need, and we've been able to build something that solves a problem. Just to be recognized for that was like huge for us, and I won't lie, I cried. It was like the biggest moment of biggest moment of the whole of building Hey Monika for me. So super proud. Yesterday, though, we got together as a team. We did it online. Last few times we've had our hackamons at my house, but we did it online because, it's Christmas, it's coming up and it's super busy. And we were focusing in on those challenge mode scenarios. So we already have 7 sitting there in the software. You can see them on the challenge mode view that our software developers have built, which looks amazing. So you have this separation between scenarios and challenge mode, and you can also filter those scenarios by the type of work. So what area are we covering, or is this basic, intermediate, advanced, that kind of thing. So we've got these 2 great views now, but we built out some more challenges. I always think I'm going to achieve more than I actually am able to do in the time. I ended up with a child off sick, doing the school runs, husband wasn't here, all the thing, every meal. It's just the thing when you've got kids at home and they want to be cooked for every moment. Anyway, we managed to build 3 extra scenarios. So you now have a challenge where you can work through the end of year prepayments activity. So reviewing the P&L, looking for places where there might be a prepayment and working out what that journal looks like. We've also got a challenge around balance sheet review. So what are you looking for when you're reviewing the balance sheet at the end of the year? What are the trends? What are the problems? What are the things that are a bit weird that we need to be looking out for? And what do we do about those? And we've also built a challenge on deferred income. So again, identifying those items which should be treated as deferred income and then calculating the journal that needs to be posted. And of course, reversing that as well in the new year. Those challenges are built because our software developers are working on the CMS, the content management system, which is the bit behind the scenes, which we use to put the content into the software. We haven't been able to upload them yet, but they are working on that for us. And we'll be able to add those really soon. So watch this space if you're a Hey Monika user. And don't forget that if you haven't tried it, you can go to heymonika.com and read all about it. Or if you just want to sign up and have a go to heymonika.app, type in the code freebie, and you get a month for free. So you can actually see what I'm talking about here if you want to. What we also did yesterday is we filmed, we use an AI tool to film our videos. We filmed a load of help videos. So let's say you're working through that prepayments challenge and you're thinking, well, okay, they've given me some questions to answer. You go through, you look at the paperwork, you assess it, decide what you need to do around a prepayment, but maybe you're still stuck. So what we've done is we've filmed videos that can go into the help section at every question where you're actually working on one of these working papers, and the video will give you a bit more support, talk you through what we're trying to do to answer this question, because that's what it's like in real life when you've got a mentor sat next to you. If you were doing this in practice at a desk in the office, you'd have somebody there with you who was able to help you out, and you'd say, well, what do I do about that? Why is that where do I debit? There'd be someone to help you. So we have Monika in the software who's able to talk you through that as well, which really adds value, and it gives you much more of an interaction of being mentored as you're working through the process. The other things I wanted to update you on, because there is loads, we've also spoken to our software development team about what we're going to do in our next build. So what we're working on next, there's a few things. Firstly, because we have now scenario mode and challenge mode, we as a team need a way to be able to upload the data. It looks different at the back, in the back end. So we need to do something to our CMS. So not very exciting for you as a user, but it just means things like us being able to get more of these challenges out faster will be much easier. And that's something I don't think it's going to take. It might be a couple of weeks once they get started. So that's great news. One of the other things we've asked for is to have video style questions. So at the moment, when you're working through, you've got your paperwork, you're speaking to the client, you're speaking to Monika to get support, and the questions are multiple choice. They're not always easy multiple choice. You need to be doing the work to know what the answer is. But what we want to be able to do is, rather than have a text question, sometimes we want to put a video in there, because sometimes in real life, you would have a client on a video call saying to you, hey, I've just noticed this thing, what do I do about that? Or they might send you a voice note, and we want a way to be able to deliver those pieces of extra interaction that makes it feel more like a real journey. We want to be able to add those questions in. So we're going to have video type questions coming really soon. And the other thing that we want to be able to do for you, I feel like there's a fourth thing and I can't remember, but the other thing we want to be able to do for you is have a button that you can press where you can output your progress. So at the moment, this is quite new actually. We have a dashboard. So when you log into Hey Monika at the beginning, you can see which scenarios you have in progress and which ones you've completed. But what we want to be able to do is for you to have, like I was saying earlier about that kind of live CV of work experience, I want you to be able to press a button and see what you've actually done, because that helps you with your CPD records, because you're practicing these skills you have. If you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, you know how important it is to stay up to date and build your skills. But also, if you wanted to show an employer what you've done, or just thinking ahead, if you are working for an employer who uses Hey Monika in the business to train all of the trainees, the employer might want to see that progress as well. So this is the first step in a range of functionalities which we see really have potential as well. So we're going to have a button where you can output your progress. I think that's all I want to update you on, but I do have an ask if you've enjoyed listening to this. I would really love for us to get feedback from practice owners who are training trainees, and I want to understand how you train your trainees, what you need them to know, how you would benchmark them against each other or against the targets that you have for them in terms of their training development. Because we need to make sure this is a training product, Hey Monika, and I need to make sure that that is reflecting what the business use really is. So if you're interested in jumping on a call with me, I'd love to show you Hey Monika, of course, but I'd really love to understand if you're happy to help us shape this software. I'd love to understand what you need from a software like this, because I think we're the only people in the world doing something like this. And I want to see how we make sure that this is really like fit for purpose and super valuable. So drop me a message. You might be watching this on LinkedIn. Drop me a message and let me know if you're free to have a chat. I can work around your diary. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.